Hello and welcome to Cards and Coaching. Today I would like to talk about a certain conflict that you may have already encountered in your life. Sometimes, as you have been raised with certain values, you encounter situations in your life and have the feeling that the values do not fit anymore. Those values have been given to us by our parents or other people, grown up people during our childhood. And so we integrate them, and as we evolve and as our life evolves, the reason why we have a value is changing at first. So, in the beginning, we may have those values because they fit and because they work, but later on, we only have those values because we have been raised with them. Our parents told us so to do. Especially in countries where maybe, for example, religious or cultural values are still far more rooted, it is very difficult for them to exchange those values. I don't want to say to get rid of them because they had their reason to be there in the beginning, but we have the right to change them. So, in one of the forums, in one of the Facebook pages, there was a woman who had exactly that problem, that she had values and didn't feel okay with them anymore. And while on one side I can explain this on the basic of the transaction analysis, which is a subject I will bring up in different videos later on, she used two cards or more. She picked two cards and found out, or rather, I found out that they fit very well. So it was once the Hierophant. See how you can see correctly. No, like this maybe. The Hierophant, which has a lot to do with our values, and very often with values we haven't experienced and brought up for ourselves, but more the kind of values that we have been raised into by a higher positioned person, like the Hierophant, the high priest on the card. And you see that the people are bowing to his knowledge and his wisdom. So don't get me wrong. This doesn't mean that his wisdom is wrong, but the timing might not be correct. So it could well be that his wisdom was correct and right for a certain time, and that now we have the possibility to just change it because it doesn't fit anymore. The other card she got was the card of the strength. So, especially this version of the card, I like it very much for this explanation. The strength has a lot to do with our inner strength. It has to do with finding out who you are and what your capacities, what your good characteristics are. And just the way it is shown on the card, the woman is very caring with the lion. So even if the lion is something very strong and ferocious and wild, she explains to us that it is still part of us and we shouldn't deny it. We should take care of it. And then maybe it can be integrated in a far lesser dangerous way. So now you really have those two cards. Let me check how I can bring them in. One versus the other. So the knowledge, the wisdom from outside versus this inner strength that we have to take care of. So those two cards show exactly what is going on in a lot of people when they are working on themselves or when they are encountering problems in their life, because those are the two values that may enter in conflict in such situations. So in the transaction analysis, we have a parental ego state and we have a child ego state. So the inner force is our child ego state. While in the beginning not tame, not fit into our situation, and on the other hand, we have the parental ego then that is telling us how we have to behave and which might be telling us that a lion is something dangerous and is something bad and something evil. And yet we have to find a way to bring both into communication so that at the end it is the strength of both sides that give us the possibility to go on in our life without forgetting ourselves. So I will give you the link to another page where I explain the transaction analysis and the different steps, or more like the different ego states that we have inside. And even here, I will bring up the ego states again with the tarot cards of the person cards. Now I have lost the word. Um, which show the king, the knight, the queen, and the page. We show a lot of those different aspects that actually we have in ourselves, and where we have to find a way to bring them together, like on a round table, so that we can use the strength of each part of it. From the outside, the knowledge and the wisdom from the outside, as well as our strength inside. Thank you for watching.